What's good, fam? My name is Naren. Welcome back to the channel. I haven't been posting as much as I said I would, and that's all because of this new addiction. Marvel Rivals. Yo, what the hell is that? Yeah, he not getting away with this. This game been out for half a year now. I'm sure it needs no introduction, but if you're unfamiliar, Rivals is a hero shooter comprised of 6v6 game modes. You get all of these Marvel IP characters to choose from with special abilities unique to them. All these characters are divided into 3 roles. You got your Vanguard, Strategist, and Duelist, but I'm gonna call them Tank, Support, and DPS respectively. Despite knowing how the game works technically, you're not going to know how to play until you figure out how each hero operates, so you know how to counter them all on the battlefield. This will take a lot of trial and error, and I feel like it's where the majority of the player base loses interest. I recommend all my friends starting out to just experiment with all the heroes until you find the one that clicks for you. Once you find your main character, you'll start contributing more for the objective, and that's how you end up getting W's. My first main that just clicked for me was Punisher, aka Frank Castle. I got 15 plus years of Call of Duty experience. We don't gotta talk about that, I'm old. And Punisher reminded me a lot of Soldier 76 from Overwatch, so he was real easy for me to pick up. Frank's kit comes with an assault rifle with infinite ammo, a shotgun for close range, a turret with a big shield and 200 heavy bullets, a zipline for mobility which is really good for getting high ground, and a smoke grenade with knockback to yourself which surprisingly gets you out of hot spots and can also give you high ground. Frank's passive ability is so underrated, it's literally wall hacks. How it works is if you have a visual of an enemy, their outline will be clearly visible even through surfaces for a few seconds, and it's also color coded depending on their health. Now of course only he can see it, but with good communication, this usually cancels out any element of surprise a potential diver might bring to your squad. Pro tip, use your ult with Rocket's amplifier ults, and you could just thank me later.
I'm doing this my way! Judge, jury, executioner!
I kinda mastered Castle, and I can confidently say that because I eventually ranked top 3 Punishers of all Xbox players. So naturally, I wanted to see what other characters I could excel with. I got my first Lord with Punisher. My second one happened to be Moon Knight. Listen, I'm gonna keep it real. I never play Moon Knight anymore because he's so boring. I played him a lot early on because his kit makes him feel like I'm playing Batman, and at the time they gave you a free Moon Knight skin just for making gold rank in competitive mode. I thought it would be cool to have a lord for the character everyone's getting a skin for. But I didn't stop at gold. I kept going just because I knew I could. And my next goal was GrandMaster. And on the last day of the season, before all the ranks reset, I made it to Diamond 1, which is the rank right before GM. I didn't hit my goal, but I knew it was possible. So the next day, all our ranks reset, and we had to climb all over again. But my goal from the start this time was to hit GM. I started playing Namor out of nowhere. Right then I stumbled upon this video titled, How Namor Got Me into GM in One Day by Zeptha. Highly recommend watching this because it genuinely improved my Namor gameplay.
Wait, what's up?
Just 1v1 game.
Namor was my third lord, but more importantly, he actually helped me get into GrandMaster. Now this was a big deal to me at the time. I wasn't supposed to make it this far. Y'all gotta understand, I got 2 jobs and a girlfriend. This competitive business wasn't meant for my kind. But I did it. I reached my goal and felt so accomplished for it. That's the funny thing about virtual ELO. The serotonin you get for your success is so real. Now, I'm no top 3 Namors on Xbox like I was for Punisher, but I'll settle for top 300. It was time for me to work on another lord. I decided on leveling up my Scarlet Witch. Truth is, I mained Wanda before I even started playing Punisher. She was absolutely broken the first 2 weeks the game was out. But then everyone soon learned how to counter her ultimate, which made it really frustrating because all of a sudden none of my ults provided any value. And I figured I'm better off using somebody else whose ults aren't so hit or miss. But I eventually figured out the secret to every great Wanda user. Just don't get countered. You know why I love using Wanda so much? Let's say you get rage baited by a Spidey, or you just keep getting killed by Magic or Iron Fist. You think to yourself, alright, what more could I have done? The team just wasn't there for me when I needed them the most. But if your whole team's struggling with one little Wanda, maybe that's an indication that you're all trash. I have my fun by making them all consider uninstalling. I made top 300 Scarlet Witches on Xbox. It was at this point I realized, am I part of the problem? DPS might be the most stress-free role. You'd think it's support, but they gotta constantly worry about not getting dived while constantly keeping the team alive. And tanks experience the most action. They got the least mobility, and so they're always in danger. That's why I feel like the majority of the player base chooses the safety net of duelist. My issue was if everyone chooses DPS, myself included, our team composition will suffer in balance. Like we're always going to miss out on a tank or support if we have 3 or 4 DPS. So I decided to learn another role. We had a little support strike going on in our community, so I figured we'd always need another strategist. People often think support's the most boring role, but that's just because they don't know when to switch between doing damage and actually supporting the team, so they just heal the whole game. Obviously that's going to get boring, and I'm looking at all y'all rockets with less than 1k damage every game. Just because there was one pacifist rocket who made it into GM without doing a lick of damage doesn't mean everybody gotta take up that challenge. I picked up Cloak and Dagger as my first support main. Tyrone Johnson and Tandy Bowen. It's literally 2 characters in one. Once I realized Cloak was just like playing Wanda, it was all over.
Angel got it. Angel got it.
My homies sometimes get mad at me for playing too much DPS while supporting. Too much cloak, not enough dagger, they say. Little do they know, I do hella damage with dagger too. If you're within certain range, you actually leech health back while you're doing damage as dagger as opposed to cloak. So you might as well top yourself off with Tandy Bowen. So there you have it. My first 5 lords.